Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host, John, better known as Dale around Yak. Been a fantastic show for you. A popular streamer tries Guild Wars 2, Festival of Four Winds approaches, and the Skimmer will be usable underwater, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He is a moderator over at MMO Champion and streams every Wednesday on this very channel. We all have been waiting for that Skimmer announcement, but is it a hint at the tomorrow war that is to come? Say hello to Jim.
Bubbles.
All right.
Look, we got to go. If we're going to fight the underwater dragon, we have to have a way to go there faster. So clearly they're going to do some kind of underwater thing with this.
I literally thought you were going to be like, if we're going after bubbles, we need maracas. I mean, the logic's just there. I thought that's where you were going with it.
I mean, if I could get a maraca skin, I would dual wield maces on my warrior. So,
ooh, maces or focus. Come on, ain't it? Hopefully, we'll maybe see that for. I don't know where they would put that in, but anyway. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, does he think the new big streamer will enjoy Guild Wars 2 with all the vistas scattered about from the deepest of caves to the highest of summits? Say hello to Age.
Really? A pun in the intro? Really?
Have we just met?
No.
Like we were talking about pre-show, it's like, we've been doing it for like 5 years. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's true.
But let us jump right into it. And speaking of, if you haven't got it from that hint, apparently Summit has tried out Guild Wars 2. He initially on Twitter had like a tweet just basically asking like what are people's thoughts of Guild Wars 2, and I think he was more geared towards trying the PvP aspect of it. And I think a lot of people were like, oh yeah, cool, try it. I did see a couple tweets of like people that were just really, I think, wanting him to play the game that they play because they were like, screw that game, play. I think it was like Final Fantasy 14. I'm like, all right, dude, like, let them enjoy, I mean, granted, I don't know if he's tried it or not. I've heard great things about 14. Not my cup of tea, but I mean, I have seen some responses. I don't know how many are by like people that are streaming. I think it seems like some streamers are like, oh, cool, like more eyes on Guild Wars 2 does mean more eyes on their content as well, like maybe beginner guides or other stuff like that, or even just streams in general, like maybe if someone's not playing or what have you. But I have seen some people that are that idea, that gatekeeper thing of, no, you're going to take away from, like, I've heard some people say, take it away from like my streamer in the case of, I saw a lot for like Mighty Teapot, who is kind of one of the more top streamers, though luckily, I will say, I mean, Mighty Teapot was one of the first to kind of extend, be like, hey, here's some, questions and stuff. So, or not questions, here's some answers and stuff like that. So, kudos to him. Unfortunately, it seems like, and, I'm not saying it's just his stream because I think I said this prior, is that tends to always be a thing with like, my streamer's giving someone else attention. Like I've heard people say they've been whispered at to be like, bullied out of like talking in someone's stream, which is a shame. But
the idea that a streamer is somehow taking viewers away from another streamer, it only exists if the person watching likes the other streamer more.
Yeah.
In which case, it's just a thing that happens in entertainment. If somebody likes other content, business. Like if somebody likes the other content better, they're going to go watch that other content. And, if you're just looking for Guild Wars 2 stuff, like I know there are a lot of people who are on Twitch and YouTube, and they just want Guild Wars 2 stuff for their gaming. Like, they don't want variety streamers. They want someone who streams Guild Wars 2 every time they're on. If somebody is a variety streamer, then they're not going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Just because it's not the content that they want to watch. And that's just keep doing what you're doing, and if people like you, they'll watch. I mean, there was a while where we had like 2 or 3 people in chat, but we did the videos anyway because we enjoyed talking about the news, and now we've got like 10 to 30, 40 people in chat sometimes, and people who watch the videos, and it's just like, we've been here, we do the stuff, we do it because we enjoy it, and that's it. Like, we put the content out there and people watch it.
And I would have to say, because it was just him his first stream was him just kind of playing the game, which I think netted, I think it was around 32,000 streamers or viewers at its peak, which in comparison, and like, once again, like, hopefully no one uses this ammunition like the people we were talking about earlier, but Guild Wars 2 just has not really ever really pulled in those numbers consistently but I was gonna say, unlike special events, like going back to Teapot when he did his what was it,
any tournament really,
any of his tournaments really, I mean, and that was building up the hype and all that stuff, and which like I said, I don't want to belittle it's tremendously awesome, but it's not a consistent thing, whereas I mean, I'm curious because I think he did a couple of streams, not like that was just the first one was 32. Has it also been around there, or I would imagine, because I mean, for people who don't know, Summit's kind of like one of the top streamers. I think even this past week, I have heard Dr. Disrespect was saying he should be the streamer of the year or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So, which for, I think anybody that's in the streaming realm and knows of streamers, they would probably recognize the names, but just in case you don't.
I'll admit I didn't recognize the name, but then again, I follow a streamer that I watch, and I don't often have time for streams other than the one that I'm on.
It's tough. It's a lot of content in the world. I think I was talking about that with hosts of Ascalon, which is another Guild Wars 2 podcast we've talked about in the past, and I think that one of the hosts of it was saying, "Oh, I missed your live show again last week," or something. I'm like, I totally understand. It's that's such the weird thing. I mean, now we're getting into like the theory crafting and stuff of like it's like streams. It's like people initially loved the internet because it was like, I can watch everything on demand or something like that. But then live streaming comes along, and initially when people first start out, they're like, oh, I'm just going to turn on my stuff and start streaming. Well, what's the first thing, professional streamers or stuff stay? Get a schedule. Because guess what? If you're hard to find, so it is one of those things where it's like, you're on the internet, on demand, everything at your fingertips. It can be accessed at any point. But we want you on at these exact times so we are able to see you. So it's like kind of, it kind of contradicts itself, but it is understandable in that sense, because especially for discoverability. That's why, for the most part, we try to have our stuff on the same time, except rare occasions like last week. Even on YouTube, schedule, like the stuff goes up at a certain time. People expect it. Doesn't mean you don't have to change it. Just give heads up, and just like television. They're like, hey, we're moving to a new time.
Yeah. One of the reasons why Korra had such terrible viewership near the end, because they kept moving the time.
Yeah, that can, and kind of with like streaming, that can make or break, make it harder for some people to view.
But anyway, the whole overarching point is just like Summit streaming Guild Wars 2, enjoying it even. I saw some of his further tweets. Mostly I think I saw them because Jebra retweeted a lot of them. more people seeing Guild Wars 2 and wanting to play Guild Wars 2 is better for all of us, because that means ANET gets more money, and ANET can spend more money on, potentially more money, and that means they can put more into the game. So
hopefully,
right.
Asterisk always there. It's like, but yeah, and I like, part of me kind of felt bad for Summit because I unfortunately didn't get to see the first stream, which like that was him just like starting to play. But I did hear some things of like a lot of people were like trying to help him in the sense of like, hey, let me send you gold and this and that, and I forget who the streamer was originally, because I know I was talking about that in the Discord with Hat before, where it was another big streamer. Was it Soda Poppin' or something? Like this was a couple years ago or something, where literally, okay, yeah, chat saying Soda Pop. As soon as he's like started, he's like, oh, I'm just trying it out. People were sending him legendaries, and he wasn't even 80. Like he was just playing, and I'm like, the game's already like isn't that like kind of like your end goals, like especially in this type of game? And at that point, because I don't even think maybe we had raids. I don't even know if we had. I think we probably had some raids, but it was, raids are even different in Guild Wars 2, where it's not like you're going after a bigger piece of gear. You're giving them like all the, big stuff.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, he was getting sent gold by the, yeah, it was
that,
okay. It was before Hot came out. All right.
That might be one of the kind of like downfalls of being a popular streamer. Yeah. It's just I think that would happen like with any game that you can like gift things to people or things like that.
And it's it's because people want to be friends, want to be noticed, and want it would be like the same thing if any super or any movie star or something. Like if Ryan Reynolds started playing Guild Wars 2. I mean, granted, if he does, call us. I'd love to have you on the podcast. One episode, that's all I ask. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Anyway,
great. Then we could do the comparison.
Jesus, no.
What are you talking about? They would share a box. I would divide it in half, so they would have to. Anyway. But yeah, I kind of felt bad because I think he even was saying, Summon in particular was saying like, hey, I just want to play the game. Like, I was like, I'm so glad that he wants to act like, it seems like he genuinely wants to find a game to enjoy and not be like, I mean, granted, I don't think Guild Wars 2 would be like, I'm netting 32,000 viewers. It's a bit suffering. Let me play Guild Wars 2 to skyrocket that back up. I mean,
I just, and honestly, people sending him a bunch of stuff like as he's starting the game that he can't even, like, what are you going to spend literal gold on a new character?
Well, I guess
you don't even know what to spend the money on.
Yeah, you hold on to it until you know what to spend it on. I assume, like, I'm pretty sure that's happened to him before. So like,
oh yeah, I'm sure that's not the first time. But like I said, I did feel bad because it seemed like he's like, I just want to play a game and stream it while I play it and enjoy it. But it seems like, in his streams, but also I've seen most Guild Wars 2 Twitters and stuff always throwing in the at Summit or Summit 1G or whatever his thing is. It's like, and I'm like, I understand the game, but not my.
Yeah.
I even asked when we were doing this, I was like, when we do our show note or when we do our links throughout the week, I was like, do we really want to talk about this? Like, I know it's a big deal, but it seems like it was kind of against what Summit was wanting. And so in the end, that's why we want to talk about it as a news topic, but not be like, hey, we're talking about this so we can put it in our, what is it, the algorithm, the tag for the YouTube thing. Like, we're not going to have a thumbnail that just has Summit's face on it, be like, making you think he's on the shit, tricking you into it. Or at least not now.
Still going to tag his name.
So, So, like I think it happens with any popular streamer or any streamer that pulls in views, because it's like with regarding game companies or other companies with sponsorships, things like that. So let's take Red Bull, for example. Red Bull, if they see streamers, who drink Red Bull, they're like, hey, this person likes Red Bull. Maybe we'll offer them a sponsorship, and we'll partner with them so that they mention that they're sponsored by us, and we'll give them Red Bull and all that stuff, and they get money out of like the sponsorship and things like that, or perks, and I wouldn't be surprised if Summit still like streamed Guild Wars 2 every now and then, that Arena would offer them a partnership. It's just the way things go, because it's like a mutual benefit for both ways.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a business aspect to.
Yeah,
that's why I said I for the people that are adding Summit, like when they're tweeting like at Summit blah blah blah, I enjoy, like I'm like, he's at the top of his game. He knows what you're doing. Like it's not like it's like.
You're not tricking him.
Yeah.
I mean, like regarding players.
Yeah, the player thing is.
I get okay. So regarding players, like in game sending him stuff, I think that's just like a natural thing that happens with any game.
Yeah.
So I get it's up to him on how he wants to deal with it in that respect, in terms of his principles of how he wants to start a video game. Regarding social media, again, I would assume that's the same type of deal where he would get tagged in a bunch of things by the community he's playing in, if it's a new community. Yeah. So I guess it depends on how he wants to handle it in that respect. So I'm pretty sure he's experienced in that. So, we'll take it as he goes.
Oh yeah, Chad. I understand there's two reasons. The rare chance that they're like, oh, I'll retweet your thing or something. But honestly, I'm sure a person like Summit or any of like big streamers, they probably don't even look at their notifications, because it's probably like just
blew up, type of deal.
It's so hard for them to probably keep up with it. But yeah, along the lines like the chat's saying, it's also for their fan base to be like, hey, I searched Summit's tweets and mentions or something, and I saw this person. And
I think I only retweeted one thing with Summit tagged in it, is just like saying leave him be.
Yeah,
other streamers. That's about it. Like, don't like harass him.
Just let the dude enjoy the game.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say, I think that's my final thought on it was, hey, welcome to the community. I hope you enjoyed. If you do have any questions, like we've offered to anyone, I mean, even if your people have questions, loads of stuff. /wiki. I'm sure someone has already told them about that. So.
Oh, that's something they forgot in the next thing.
Oh, really? Oh, snap.
I didn't notice it. I just read over it.
Oh, and chat saying Mighty Peon was a... I also say, I know he hops around different MMOs. Did he play it recently, or... Because I know that was another one. And granted, I mean, we're also...
that was like shortly after Hot.
Or yeah, Lazy Peon.
Tried that.
I think that was also when Bless died, and a lot of people recommended going to Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, but like he's specifically an MMO centric player, so
is that why he stopped Morn? That's disappointing.
And see, that's kind of the problem with this kind of thing, which, yeah, it's especially with Guild Wars 2. It's not a game where you want to run someone through to just gear them up and stuff to get them ready for other things.
Yeah,
it's a game where you figure the puzzle, the puzzle of the gameplay out, and then it's that's when it just becomes easy. And then people say the whole game's easy. It's like, well, not if you're just starting out, but that is also a problem. But that's kind of a limitation of AI and technology. I mean, they'd really have to up their AI as a specific learning thing to be perfectly.
It's what ZeKrioX is saying.
It's interesting because you want,
yes,
like, if a person says, oh, I'd like to try raids, and he's like he's fully geared, let's say on his own, whether he got gear, whatever, and then it's like, oh well, it's like I would need to find a group to raid with, and it's like, oh, I'll volunteer because like they've done raids before, obviously, so it would be depending on the group he joins, which might highly likely be a experienced group. So
Summit, if you want a distinctive starting out from scratch raid group, I will offer my services. I am hot trash. But anyway,
also with PvP, I
was about to say I'm probably right above a test dummy, but I don't even think then.
No, Deo's already better than the bots that infest PvP. So
yeah, I'm pro PvP player. Not really.
With no experience. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, awesome. Can't wait to see, how the rest of the stuff plays out, like as he gets through the end game kind of stuff. But
secretly join a training group. That's what I would say.
Oh, that'd be great, because they'd be like, you guys are noobs. We don't want you in your group. I'm sure you'd meet some kind of toxic person. Yeah, don't let them go in LFG, whatever you do.
That's the thing though, is if they're an MMO player, they're gonna be familiar with that, because that's just everything.
But wow, got more out of that than I thought. So, beat me to it.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, I should probably train more. Maybe get some kind of guide to help me. Like, is there like a new player guide for Twitch? Probably not. But Guild Wars 2, convenient enough, and a lot of people were saying, like, it's interesting that this just happened on this week when Summit started playing, but Guild Wars 2 put out an official new player guide on their website. It wasn't there was no like official announcement like, hey, we're working on this. It was just boom out there, like. But,
according to that shaman, apparently it's been up for weeks, but it was just never officially announced.
Oh, okay.
Which was interesting.
Which it does look nice, and I do encourage the look of it's great, because it feels like it starts to take like the elements from like the tutorials and just have them in there, or like the the little tips that pop up when you first start playing. But also like it was like shows like the HUD, and like you highlight over like what's a health bar, and it highlights what it is on like the HUD thing. I was like, those little things I think would definitely help a player, especially if they're totally new to MMOs, maybe even games.
Oh my God, Zach, put that in a glass case.
I was gonna say, I think I got mine digitally, so I don't have that one, but I do have the Guild Wars 1 instruction booklets because it had lore in it, so I used to read those all the time. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure I still have mine. I still have the boxes for them somewhere.
Still nothing about break bars.
Yeah, like that's two things. They need break bars and they need /wiki. Because /wiki, I just actually did a search on the pages. There's no /wiki mention.
Are there break bars pre-20 actually? I don't know.
No. Well, I mean, I think that's what Lint was talking about, like an advanced new player guide. Is like there needs to be a secondary tutorial thing that pops up when you hit. Like,
well, and that's what they say. It's like during your first 20 levels. So maybe they'll do like a 21 to 40 and then a 41 to, and then Guild Wars 2 Beyond, and everybody's going to freak out. And they're like, no, we're just talking about post 80, not like Guild Wars 1 Beyond. It's not like that.
I
maybe
remember having a key farming character, and I don't recall a break bar in the story at 10 or 20.
I'm trying to remember. I can't.
And I was gonna say I can't remember. Otherwise, they weren't very like necessity, because it was kind of laid in afterwards, so they didn't really. I don't think they changed too much of like the fight for those. So it was like even if it was there, you wouldn't know what you were doing with it. It's like, oh, what is that, their mana bar? Because it is a blue bar underneath their, like, so you know, I could see someone being like, is that their mana bar just going down or something? Or
no, we have no mana. It's just endurance and health. Thank the dark gods. I'm tired of managing that. You have to do cooldowns and mana, and it's just like, don't want to deal with it.
Okay, chat saying there is an apothecary you visit outside Divinity's Reach where there is a break bar where Logan yells, knock him back to make him vulnerable. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew they added, like, especially for like the dodge thing, so I thought they added like a thing to teach people if they came across it, but that was also the problem was, like, with the dodge thing, a lot of people didn't come across it. But if that's in the story itself, I guess that's good that they added it. Oh,
that's just one of the things that you need to force people to encounter mechanics, and I think that's one of the things that isn't exactly the best done in Guild Wars 2 for some of the things. It's just very specific things.
Yeah, because if you just, I see why they would need to redo a few fights, just because if you do a break bar in the beginning and you never encounter it until like level 60, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to see it expanded upon, like we're talking about. And like, as people are saying, there are a couple things that have been missed out. And like I said, I wasn't even aware that you came across a break bar before level 20, unless you're in, like, in the open world with some of the new bosses they put in the zones. But besides that, it's just, yeah. So hopefully they'll do some tweaks. But any other thoughts on the new player guide?
It's good.
Yeah, Dry Top is a total break bar tutorial. Unfortunately, that comes at 80, so.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I don't know how hard it'd be to add, but it'd be nice to add. And just put a few fights in the story instance, just have a break bar, and then I think you're good in that case. Personal story, and then well, I guess I think Living World had season 2. Did they have break bars?
Yeah, because chat's saying Dry Top, which that was season 2. So
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, and then just add a few fights in early personal story. I don't think there are any. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think there's any break bars in personal story. Maybe that's a problem too, but I don't think they ever want to go back to messing with personal story. So it's a catch-22 in that case.
Yeah, but you know, we're talking about a little bit about Dry Top in the chat. But speaking of maps and meta maps, the most recent one, the Drizzlewood Coast meta, we were talking a little bit last week about it and of people's issues with it. One was the length, which kind of gets trickled back into the story, but the other thing was after you beat the meta, it's like, go run around this entire map for special, you know, chests to grab up. And people are like, oh, that's just so annoying because you only have 10 minutes, which with snipers and everything like that trying to hit you, it's hard to just kind of move around easily. Which Arena came out and said, as they talked about in the guild chat last week, they've been listening to the feedback about the meta and taking it into account. And they said with that in mind, they wanted to give us an update that next Tuesday, August 11th, after the update is released, the chests that spawn throughout the map at the end of the meta will all be located or relocated to Claw's Roost. And it'll be in this nice little weird ritualistic circle. And so you can reap all the rewards in this one little area here.
I mean, it would have been cooler if they would have done it kind of how they did in the end of like the bounty area in Bureau Marches, where they were kind of like tucked into corners and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I did this meta once. I actually did this Thursday for the stream, just because I wanted to be able to talk about this. And holy hell, having to run after all those boxes at the end of the meta sucks. It is terrible.
I never liked it.
I don't know. Like, I hate to like harsh on people at ArenaNet, but like, who thought that was a good idea? Because the bounties in the first half of Drizzlewood, where you have to go find I can't remember what the units are called, but you have to go grab the bounties, and they're unlocking the gates to the boxes. At the very least, there's like it's like a dead drop. It's like a materials place. The cash keepers, thanks, Hat. Like, at the very least, that kind of fits. Like, these boxes sitting around all over the place, they're not even like locked behind stuff. They weren't frozen in blocks of ice. They're just kind of there out in the open, and they just kind of appear after you finish the meta, and there's no reason to it. There's nothing. They're just kind of poof, here, stuff. Why?
It could be like a cave of the Legion's resources, and that could be the excuse. But
oh no, a cave of resources? No, we don't need a loot cave in Guild Wars 2.
No, not a loot cave. You actually go in the loot cave and you get the chests, and then that's it. There's no permas respawn.
All right.
Loot cave.
I miss Loot Cave. That was fun.
I don't remember.
Really was a fun.
It was, because you just grind for an hour.
Destiny 1.
Destiny 1?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I just heard people just basically pointed their gun at a hole and just... That doesn't sound fun.
You just do that for 30 minutes and, get some decent loot.
To be entirely honest, if we're talking about... Now, admittedly, I just ended up watching the third Matrix movie this past weekend for the first time ever. And whoever animated the Sentinels coming out of the ceiling really liked like either the Zerg or the Tyrannid from Warhammer 40k and StarCraft, respectively.
Yeah.
Because that's sure as hell what that looked like. But that was everybody trained their guns on a hole in the ceiling and tried to keep the giant horde from flooding in. And I mean, you could enjoy that, especially if it gets stronger and stronger and more enemies start coming through and you actually have to struggle to keep the enemies from coming out of the cave. But it sounds like that's not a thing that
wasn't that. But Jed is saying, I think I initially felt the same way of like, it is in such a nice circle. It would have been interesting to see it like in a different like pattern. Like it just, like I said, it seems like it's in some kind of weird ritual. Like you open up that middle one, it's going to be a mimic and it's just another boss fight or something.
You shut your mouth. I do not want mimics in my Guild Wars 2.
We do have a mini pet, so ANET, come on.
No.
April Fools.
No. Actually, that would be a fantastic like mini event. Is like all of the chests in Guild Wars 2 all have a chance to be a mimic, and it triggers like a boss fight, kind of like the Executioners and the Bandits in Queensdale and all the other starter zones.
Well, what they could do is that every now and then it could be all chests with some mimics, and then the third one would be you go in a cave and then there's this giant house in the middle.
I'm missing the...
I'm not catching the reference either.
Oh, you play Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's me out.
7.
Are you going to make us fight the Hell House?
Yeah.
No.
But you have to fight a house?
Yes. You fight a whole goddamn house.
Lovely.
It's one of the most frustrating fights in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well,
and then on hard mode, it throws tonberries at you.
Those are little guys that are one shot.
And like Chad's saying, like, yeah, like even doing a high fantasy dragon trope, kind of like what you were saying, having like a dragon horde or something like that. I was even thinking like maybe, I don't know the inner workings of the system or something, but it would be cool if like those chests were like frozen or something, and due to beating them, now our Fire Legion char can come up and they just like melt the stuff, and it just is like, you know.
Well, that's why I was talking about having them in like nooks and crannies of the arena, kind of like in Bjorn Marches. Like, at least it would feel a little bit more. I think the only reason they did this is it was a quick change from spawning just everywhere across the map.
Yeah. But hey, in the end, I do like that they did it this way. You know, while I would like to see it with more flair or something, I'm glad that they at least made the change that you don't have to scour the whole map. But I did see some people, and now I'm a little worried because, you know, they say they're listening to the feedback, and now I saw a lot of people saying like, see, like chat saying,
thanks, Mofongo.
I saw a lot of people saying, oh, they got to bring down the runs take too long, and I'm like, but that, and we talked about it last week, was it seems like, you know, like when we were talking with QED about it, is like if you have an expert pre-made group like planned all the way through, you can kind of do like a 30-minute run all the way to the extent of like people are going, what's a dodge button? That's the people that are taking like 2.5 hours or something. Because I think I ran one and it was taking me, I mean, I didn't hit the 30-minute mark. Mine were hitting like an hour.
Are we talking
20 or
full meta, or are you talking just the North meta?
Mine was full that took an hour and 20, okay. I think, or hour 30. So that's why I was surprised when chat last week was saying 30 minutes, but I was like, oh, maybe they said that theirs was a super organized group. So,
well, like, I think that once you get across the bridge, every single one of the zones that unlocks, if you send a team to each one of them, you can get all, like, those events take like, in each individual zone, take like 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you send a team to every zone to take out the Tribune individually, like if all the Tribunes die at roughly the same time, it's quick. But you've also got this problem that I'm hearing about, this otter infusion, and everybody wants to loot all the Tribunes, so you just zerg from zone to zone.
And that was going to be my question to chat, was your organized groups, are they ones that are trying to maximize their loot of, you know, hitting all the Tribunes so they can get those otter drops? But,
and like, I feel like if they just got the account, like if they just got the meta rolling faster, you'd get more metas in, because it's not like the meta is on a, if you didn't just spend an entire hour plus doing the first part, that would be great. Well, I mean, that's the same thing, as you have to have a 2-lane meta, because a lot of metas I'm seeing is just one commander pushing one lane in the first half, and then they go and push the other one. So like, you have to have organization in the first half of Drizzlewood, and then organization in the second half of Drizzlewood, and then I could definitely see a 45-minute run.
And honestly, like I said, I once the farming mentality gets out of there, like people going after these otter items, I'm curious when people start actually splitting up to be strategic, if that'll help. And then I would be curious to see the average times, because like I said before, I'm all for at least one map being like a war. Like, I didn't even want them to shorten the first half. I wanted it to feel like, I think I said when I first talked about it, I wanted it to feel like old school WoW Autorock Valley, where those matches lasted a week. And
we don't want the meta to last a week, though.
I understand that the mentality is no longer there, so I understand that a 2-hour run, I would be sufficient with a 2-hour thing of a war, as long as it feels engaging. If it was just like 2 hours of doing nothing, then yeah, that would be a problem. But
honestly, I feel like that. I don't think so, Mofongo. Like, once people get their otters, like,
Yeah, there's still loot.
This entire map is still fantastic. The only thing I wish would happen is that you'd still keep getting the chests rolling in after you finish the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish you would still get the benefit of defending those posts and like controlling them. That's just me wanting to, and it's not even me wanting more rewards out of the map. I just think that it kind of makes sense because we've captured it, and the whole point of us capturing it is what's giving us the loot. But then we stop getting loot from the captured points. So
don't see the second half getting the action farming map.
That will depend entirely on after the chest change, because running around and collecting the chests, I'm sure there are a lot of people who just say screw it.
And a lot of people, and I know it's going to get hit hard because a lot of people are treating it, especially with this change, unless it's going to be changed next week as well, is they're treating it like Terrir in Heart of Thorns, where people were hopping instances to get maximum loot, which that got quickly squashed. So if you're doing that, I don't think they did repercussions on people, but they did stop it. Which, since they did that last time, I know they didn't make mention of it this time. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't give a heads up, because I think last time they did, that they were going to change it. And because I remember people were like, oh, we got to get it in before blah, blah, blah update. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just change it flat out without saying anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is. I think it's still probably one of the more rewarding maps we have. And like I said, I think around a 2-hour mark, even if you can bump it down to 1.5 for even a organized group that just knows what they're doing. Because you also have to remember, let's not make it a 30-minute across the board, because just like Tequatl was a difficult fight, now everybody knows it and no one even has to communicate. Before, people were like, hey, if you want to get in our, Discord or blah, 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 like, so we can communicate. And, the only thing that kind of still has that is Triple Trouble, but that's purely because the ceiling was so high, people were just like, I'm not going to do it. Whereas I think this is one of those things that's doable, but it's going to be, once everybody learns it, I think it's going to go a lot faster.
Yeah, we have to get like the collective subconscious of Guild Wars 2 players to absorb this.
I don't even think we're going to be doing I would like to see some of the returning stuff, like chat's talking about bounty boards, but I just don't see that, like, they haven't really done them.
Well, 1, Gratzlin, 2, Mofongo. I kind of feel like the Cache Keepers, like, they should merge the downtime events at the end. Like, you should have the boxes at the end of that, and then you should also have the Cache Keeper bounties happen after Claw of Jormag now. Because, like, it feels weird to have 2 downtime events going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could, like, combine it so it's like
a plethora of chest. That'd be glorious, actually. That'd be a feel good, to be honest.
Because you grab those first however many chests after you kill the claw, and then it's just like, okay, go get champion loot and more boxes.
Yeah.
I think I would feel pretty happy opening 50 chests for 20 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, you're the one that liked the loot cave too.
Yeah.
Now, I did see in the forum thread about this change, somebody who does watch the Mithrin Arkier, sometimes, he made the suggestion of adding a mastery that AoE opens like loot objects. Because since every one of these chests is it's a half-second channel to open the box, it's not an instant open for these ones.
It adds up, and
so the ones that are on the Cache Keepers are instant open. So if they wanted to change it and they didn't want to do that, they just have to make these ones instant open.
Yeah. Could be interesting. I mean, well, you're talking about possibly a mastery track, but any final thoughts on this?
Mm-mm.
well, moving away from mastery tracks for a little bit and just talk about regular sweet music tracks. The new Icebrood Saga music actually dropped on SoundCloud for Guild Wars 2. So they said they added 6 new tracks to their Guild Wars 2 Icebrood Saga playlist on SoundCloud for a total of 36. So make sure to give that a nice little listen.
Why do you do this to me, Dale?
What?
Also, yay, more music. Did they do Path of Fire LP? Like, I can get records because I have my Heart of Thorns.
Oh,
they did
the purple one we talked. Yeah, I remember we showed that off.
I have it.
Yeah,
I need to get mine. Did they do it on original? Like, because they need to do the original Guild Wars 2 soundtrack on a red one.
Oh, I don't think they have an original.
And then they could do a blue one for Icebrood Saga.
No, they put out a CD set.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they had a CD of it, but not a vinyl.
Disappointing. Because that's something I would frame and put on the wall because that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. But any other thoughts on the Icebrood Saga music coming? I mean, but all songs are sung for Abaddon. Oh, chat, come on, bring up Abaddon. It's just not doing me any favors. It's like blowing hot air. Speaking of blowing air, multiple times, Festival of the Four Winds is coming next week. Oh, I hate myself.
It's like some kind of terrible superpower.
The whole time I was like, we can't finish this Icebrood Saga thing. I was like trying to think of things, but anyway. I wonder if that's gotta be Bubbles' real corruption. Slowly makes everybody do puns since we don't know their full extent of powers. Because it feels like I'm doing that to chat. It's slowly integrating into chat, and
not just the chat.
Well, Age, we're the ones who chose to be here. We've been doing this to ourselves.
But yeah, Festival of the Four Winds is coming next week, so August 11th. You can visit the beautiful labyrinthine cliffs. Challenge yourself in the Crown Pavilion. Oh boy, lots and lots of farming for that stuff.
Speaking of working together.
Yeah. Complete annual achievements for rewards, so. There we go. We just got to get ArenaNet on board. Bubbles is the elder dragon of water and bad puns.
I don't know, just having one of the dragons be like the Disney Hercules Hades of the bunch. Because honestly, Hades was about as evil as a used car salesman in the movie. I mean, minus the fact that he was trying to release the Titans and do that whole thing. But like in comparison to like everything else, like just give me like the comic relief evil.
Well, wouldn't that
Joko didn't do it for me.
Wouldn't that be great if we find out Bubbles is one of the a dragon that's legitimately wants to be good and like do good things, but the puns make us want to kill it. Also, so we end up killing it because of it. What's that?
I think Age's name is also on my title card for the sidebar.
Yep, I missed that one apparently. There we go.
I'm helping.
Apologies. I thought I went through them. I apparently did not.
That's fine.
But yeah, so Festival of the Four Winds. So nice little fun event, coming back. So.
Oh, upgraded stuff. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it looks like it has like an effect on it. And is those eyepiece like the glowing eyes? Like I don't remember seeing that particular shade. So. Maybe it's a new helmet thing, or it's so hard to.
It looks orange. It doesn't look like the red.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the red.
It was the Bloodstone one.
So, oh no, not the Bloodstone one. I'm talking like the
gem store dragon, like
Gaze is the blue one. I can't remember the green and the red ones are called.
But yeah, I think that's a unique color. I don't remember it. Looks kind of like the glow from the Tier 2 Sovereign weapons, which is from the Crown Pavilion. So yeah, maybe it's a new eyepiece as well.
Cosmetic effect, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be what they're doing for a lot of the stuff recently is upgradable weapons. So, Oh, you've got a point, Mofongo. Like if Aureen has anything to do with the festival in her new shiny dragon state.
Yeah, that would be a good point. Maybe they migrate up to Eye of the North now. But
or she just flies over from time to time.
That'd be cool. She'd be like, "You didn't invite me to the party about my mother and me? You're a bunch of jerks."
I'll admit, I'm more interested in the Festival of the Four Winds because we're not dealing with it for 4 months now.
Yeah.
Or however long we dealt with it the first time they did it.
But, yeah, any other thoughts on the Festival of the Four Winds? But, yeah, it's kind of cool because I remember Labyrinthine Cliffs. Like, it has that little outside water bit that you'll be able to probably take your skimmer on, and hopefully it won't go away by that time. But do they say how long the festival is going to last?
Probably a month.
Okay, so hopefully it'll be there by the 25th, which, surprise, surprise, we're getting something that a lot of people have wanted, and it is the skimmer will be usable underwater, and they brought out a little video to show it off, but holy moly, I think this is something that everybody has wanted, and it's going to be a new skimmer mastery to unlock underwater mounting. So as you can kind of see here, it definitely has some nice smooth transitions. I think I saw some people, and I agree, I would love to see like a adventures or something, kind of like what we got in this map with the eagle thing, where you had to fly through the hoop type stuff, the hoops. Yeah, trying to think of a different word than hoop, but that's all I got. But yeah, maybe even underwater ones where you had to like kind of almost like Echo, like we were talking about the fractal Echo type thing. Maybe do something like that for your mount out here.
Well, that'd be really cool for some of the skimmer races.
Yeah,
because there are skimmer specific races in the game, so now they can do more with that. It'll be almost like doing the Griffin. It's just, I kind of have to wonder what the movement skill is going to change to underwater. Because like the standard skimmer movement skill is float, right? It's like you double the height that the skimmer floats at. But what's that going to do underwater? Like when you press V to do the special mount action, what's going to happen?
The attack, it does.
No, not the attack. The dodge. Like if you use your dodge key, it activates the mount's special movement thing. So for the Raptor, it does the jump forward. For the Springer, it does the high jump, stuff like that.
Maybe like an evasion,
or maybe like a boost of speed.
Yeah,
because that would be cool, and that would actually, on ZeKrioX's point, and what we were talking about earlier with the skimmer races, like underwater racing, it would be cool to kind of have that.
Or maybe because I think don't we see it do like a barrel roll underwater? Maybe it like
that's the engage skill.
Is it? Because I thought they stayed mounted. I could be wrong.
No, because it happens as they're going into a fight with somebody downed, because the skimmer's engage skill can revive down targets.
Yeah, okay. No, I was gonna say maybe it does like a roll that like maybe like stops like projectiles or something, so you can maybe continue to go. But this is going to be a skill. Maybe it will flip the axis so you hit dodge to dive. Yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
So I will miss that, like, you, like, if you were underwater, you can mount up and it would just shoot you to the top. So I'm going to miss that.
Wait, I thought you could only mount up when you were at the surface level of water.
I swore early on you could, but I could be wrong. Am I thinking of something else? I swear I did that in the Abaddon one.
Hat's saying at surface.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I've never tried underwater, so I can't say.
All right. I mean, it's been a while, so, but yeah, it should be fun to actually use Skimmer for some of the older maps, because I think that's where it's going to shine. Like, and that's why they're showing it, is a lot of the older maps is like a whole, like basically Guild Wars 1 world underneath, So yeah, I can't wait to kind of go back and check all that out.
Yeah, like vanilla content had a lot of underwater stuff. And I honestly, like, I'm really happy that they're doing this. Like when they did the big skill balance thing underwater, like a while ago, they're going to try and put more underwater content in, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't do anything to the underwater skills. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what they do with it. Hell, that would bring back the verticality of maps if they did it. Just imagine an entire underwater map.
Chat saying Cantha. It's like, and I think that's a lot of people are hinting at is like, is this like a early tricklings of, well, people were saying the underwater dragon, which we would somewhat have to deal with to get to Cantha, which we know is, well, pretty much confirmed, not confirmed type thing of that's where the expansion's going to be. But yeah. But yeah, I think it should be good. It's any other thoughts on the underwaterness of the mount?
Some love to the least used mount. Yay.
Yeah, I mean, it's as they announced it, it was a nice, happy additional bonus to the mount. Speaking of a nice little bonus, they are going to be doing they're going to be starting World v World week-long bonuses again. From August 14th to the 21st, they're going to do the no down state for players in World vs. World. You will be defeated when your health reaches 0. Bonuses while playing World v World for this time will be you receive a 25% bonus to reward track progress. You gain double world XP and receive a 50% bonus to magic find.
Deo, stop using that skill on cooldown. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be roaming thief central because you spike someone and then you just don't have to deal with them.
Yeah. Perma-stealth. Berserker. One-shot builds.
And it's just going to, like, I can just imagine, haven't they nerfed Hammer on Revenant like 80 bajillion times? Is it still that strong?
I think it's pretty decent now. But if you run, I don't think people are running Berserker on Rev. I saw one Rev who was crazy, but he wasn't running a hammer. He was running everything that you would want to run it in case like you have not enough downtime. So you run like Shiro and sword and shield and like staff, I think. So, but not hammer. But like hammer and a Zerg full Berserker might actually be pretty good.
Well, Marauder, I'm sure, does a lot of work in WvW and PvP just because it gives you that extra vitality. But the artillery, so to speak, like Hammer's 1200 range, right? On all the field?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But if you're going for that one shot, you're going to... it might work. I don't know.
Well, like that would be something like you have the quote-unquote artillery group where you have just like the group of revenants that are all set up for hammer. It's like call target, spike target, call target, spike target. And since there's a lot of just incidental damage, because it's skill 2 on hammer that does the most damage.
Yeah.
So, and then you can rotate the projectile block wall between the revenants that are there.
Yeah. But then you have to fight the necros who put wells and stuff.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
To talk about the pirate ship meta.
Oh, isn't that popular? Don't people want more Sea of Thieves-esque stuff in their game? No?
Now you're making me think about having actual ships in WvW. Stop it.
Airships. Come on. Come on, ain't it? Yeah, oh yeah. Ranger with their lovely bows.
Longbow too, yay.
But yeah, sure. I'm glad to see him return. I can't wait to see, I hope they keep it up and do some other ones and maybe add some new ones. But yeah, should be fun to see. Any other thoughts on the WvW World week-long stuff? The bonuses?
No, I'm just along for the ride and saying that I like seeing the, bonus event stuff going on. It's cool to see it.
And I mean, what's the big thing you do in WvW World? Yeah. Take over a keep or a cat, whatever. Rep your guild. Well, how about outside a game? You rep Guild Wars 2. You can do that with some merch. So this past week, there was 2 tweets. One from For Fans by Fans, and it's some new merchandise in honor of Jormag Rising. You can check it out there. There's a pretty cool shirt in the messenger bag with some pretty beautiful art. And also we have Insert Coin also has what looks like, I think, some shirts and I think some hoodies. Yeah. So with our little favorite, I think one's Aurene and the other one's the Griffin. So some pretty nice merch. Definitely.
I do like their whole thing where they can be like, it's available on a mouse pad, a messenger bag, and it's just for the patterns of the designs.
Yeah, that's for fans by fans. They basically take the pattern, they can kind of print it on a lot of stuff. Pretty similar to for people that are familiar with the streamer stuff, with their streamer stores, they can just kind of print it on there. But yeah, definitely makes it pretty cool. And like I said, For Fans by Fans has a lot of stuff, even if that's not your cup of tea, but made by fans in particular, and they get a cut and stuff like that once it's sold. So get some pretty awesome custom artwork or unique artwork from it. So definitely 2 good options. Yeah, any other thoughts on the Guild Wars 2 merch?
It's a lot of really good designs. I really like the stuff on For Fans by Fans with all the mount skins on the pattern. That's some really good looking stuff.
Yeah, I think we showed some of that off last week or something where it had all the different.
I feel like, as weird as it sounds, they could sell it on wrapping paper.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a weird thing to think about, because normally you look at something like that coming off a merch shop, you're expecting t-shirts and
I want my little mount head item wrapped in mount head paper.
Yeah. That, and I feel like they could take every single one of those mount heads and they could turn those into enamel pins.
Oh yeah. That would be pretty cool. Maybe that'll be something down the line.
I mean, I have barely an artistic bone in my body. I can't be the only person who's thought that.
Probably not, but it's probably just trying to find a buyer where they can get enough, because that's probably the other tough thing, is making it cheap enough, but also kind of doing it on demand. Wrapping paper that says all gifts. Oh, I would buy.
Now I just want Abaddon to show up for Winter's Day.
I want Abaddon to show up for anything. I mean, but anyway, any final thoughts on the merch? Last up, we got Community Corner, and actually, first thing we're going to talk about in Community Corner is something that would probably be expensive, but I would love to see as a merch thing, because I've seen Elder Scrolls Online do things like this where it's more elaborate, but it's a collector's item that you would probably pay out the butt for, but yeah, this is awesome. It's a traveler's notebook, and it was done on the forums by Drawner. That's DRAWNER.2629. But I only put a couple of the screenshots here because it has a whole list of them, but definitely go check it out. It's awesome.
Holy hell, I'm watching this video. Yeah, and the amount of detail.
We'll just, of course, for any of this stuff, links will be in the description, but you got it too. All right. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's wonderfully done. It's insane.
It's there are some people who take their people make fun of role players in any MMO all the time. I've seen it happen in every single MMO I've ever played. But like, they can take this. Like, he even ripped a page out and kept it stuck in there for authenticity. Like, this is really well done. It's just impressive.
Yeah, it's an awesome job. I recommend going to check out the video. Look, and then he plugs his DeviantArt. Like I said, that forum post that we have will take you to everything. So definitely check it out. It's amazing. But any other thoughts on the Traveler's Journal? Like I said, or the Traveler's Notebook. If this was like an item, because like I said, I've seen ISA do this kind of type of thing. Granted, that's probably the tough part, is trying to mass produce it. Would probably lose some quality, but yeah, that would be one of those things that would just be such a cool little side thing. Like, that's how they should do strategy guides. I would still buy a freaking strategy guide if that's how they did.
Parchment, old school parchment.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'll admit, when The Witcher 3 came out, I bought it for PC. I got it on GOG. I got the deluxe version that came with the Prima strategy guide, primarily because, not for the strategy guide, because I think pretty much everything in the strategy guide is basically moot at this point, because it was the release guide.
That's usually the problem with MMOs. Like, I remember I used to have a friend that always bought like the strategy guide for like an MMO. I'm like, why? Why bother? It's outdated already. It's been a week.
Like, I bought the battle chest for World of Warcraft, the one that was like the main one in Burning Crusade, and it came with the Prima strategy guides, and it's just like I even knew looking through them they would be completely worthless within a year at least, and that was, I think, even a little generous to the guide. But the only reason I bought the Witcher strategy guide is because it was like also kind of sort of an art book. And it also came with a second book that was even more of an art book that was penned by the bard. I think they call him Dandelion in the game, and it's Jaskier for everybody who has seen the Netflix series.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's an entire art book, like notebook, as cool, written from Jaskier's point of view. So something like that with this thing, like that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's great world building right there.
Yeah, definitely. But also up in Community Corner, we have another video from Kroof. It is her Executioner build video for her Guild Wars 2 Berserker and PvP. Now, she does say it is like a more just fun build. Like, this isn't supposed to be the top. You're gonna be on top of the leaderboards, blah blah. But it's I think it was a fun watch. It's just I think it's good to have a fun build, like, especially if you can kind of keep it to a theme or an idea, see how well you can do. Because I know people that make builds for any game, really. They have a build of like what it wants to do, and then they'll come up with the clever name. But I have a feeling here it was kind of like keeping to a theme type thing. Like, it might not be the best weapon or something like that, but it adds to that character's look or style.
I did get a chance to watch this when she released it. It looks like a legitimately fun build.
Mm-hmm.
Like, running dual maces is something that I find really enjoyable. One of my Berserker builds that I used for a really long time in PvP was mace, shield, and bow. So that was it was a lot of, like, mace is a lot of fun. I admit I haven't worked with offhand mace in forever, so that'll be interesting to mess with. But I'm honest, I might stream PvP next week and give it a shot.
Cool. Yeah, so definitely check it out if you want to. I threw the link to the video in there, and of course will be in the description. Do you have any thoughts, Sage? Or
it looks similar to a build that was meta want to say like 3 years ago. I remember running it because it was Mace Shield and what was it? It was Mace Shield. It was either Mace Shield and Great Sword or Mace and Mace Shield with similar traits too. So it was fun, but it was more of a, I think it was like a hybrid type of build.
Well, maybe that's why I respect it and kind of enjoyed is like you said. I think we've made this mention before. I think you told me one time how my Revenant build of my Prophecies character.
Never let that go.
No, because I felt I got to be on top of the world.
All right, go ahead. Tell the story.
Because at one point, I basically took Glint and Jalis, and I made a Prophecies kind of a build type thing. Like I'm representing Prophecies. I had, the Flameseeker Prophecy Shield. And I think at one point you were like, I think you saw my build or something. You were like, that's pretty much the meta for raids. And I'm like, I'm an elitist. Woo. And then that changed in like a week and I didn't. So.
But you had your moment. And that's all that matters.
I didn't capitalize on it, but I had it. But yeah, so definitely check it out if you just want to have some fun with it. But last up, we have 2 events from Gamers Giving Back, which one I'm sure everybody's familiar with. We've talked about it many times in the past, which is Pink Day in LA. They did announce that they're looking to do Pink Day in LA on October 17th at 12 p.m. CDT. So definitely check that out. Always a great event, very friendly. If you're starting, maybe you are one of the people from Summit Stream. I don't know. I don't know if he has a community thing going or whatnot, or if you want to find like-minded individuals. It's just a fun, like, kind of bash party thing, like just hanging out, talking with people. It might be a great opportunity to meet some people that you would enjoy just hanging out with. But yeah, so they've been doing, for people that aren't aware, they've been doing this since Guild Wars 1. So over the 8-year mark of Guild Wars 2. It definitely be a fun time had by all, and it's great because it usually goes to help breast cancer charities and awareness and stuff like that. So it's for a great cause. They're trying to donate or raise money for it. But yeah,
they've been doing it long enough that in Guild Wars 1 they specifically made pink dye purchasable directly from a vendor instead of having to mix it.
Yeah, that was something in Guild Wars 1. You had to mix dyes to get certain pigments.
And they were single use.
Yeah.
You dyed a piece of gear and it was gone.
But yeah, definitely check that out. But good news is if you can't wait for that, they're also doing another event. It's called Heroes for Kids. They will be streaming from September 1st through September 8th to help raise funds for World Child Cancer. And they will be streaming it on Twitch and the whole team is Gamers Giving Back, which we'll make sure to have that link in. But if you want to save it while you're here, the whole team is basically twitch.tv/team/gamers giving back. But yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah, I don't think they've ever done this one before, so it seems like a new thing, but it's probably sounds like it's going to be in the same vein as Pink Day in LA, just a bunch of activities, fun, things to do. So definitely check it out. Once again, seems like for a good cause, World Child Cancer, definitely want to fight that. But yeah, any thoughts from about either charity streams or charity events?
I'm happy that they're still going.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that is it for this week. So, Jim, where can they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at MalthanusMMO. You can also find me on this channel, twitch.tv/MadRealms. That's 2 A's in the Mad, every Wednesday at 8-ish p.m. Eastern time. Although last week this past week it was Thursday, because Wednesday there was so much going on and the day was beautiful and I needed to go outside and walk, because otherwise I was going to go insane, because time has no meaning anymore, what with working from home permanently. So I hope to see you all on Wednesday. I might be streaming this warrior build from Kroof on Wednesday because it looks fun.
Awesome.
And honestly, I've never used Wild Blow in PvP. I want to shoot people off of ledges because it's not something I've done in forever, and I'm still mad that they changed Skyhammer, that I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we can't always get what we want, right? But Age, where can they find you?
You find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Age Night Road. I streamed some Black Desert on Monday for like 6 hours. That was a long time.
Dang.
Yeah, you killed it. You were live before I was, and then I just hosted to you afterwards. Like you were.
Yeah, that was a long stream. I didn't stream anything else that week, but because work kind of got weird. But I'm gonna try again next week. Probably tomorrow video and maybe Uno if people are up for it. I don't know.
Ooh, what day? We're scheduling live, people.
Maybe Tuesday. Maybe we'll even stream it. I'll stream it on this channel if anything.
I'll be game for it. That was a fun test thing that we tried out. But awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
It wasn't fun when Arlie won though.
we you know what? We let her win because she had to get back to work stuff. We threw the game. That's why we need a rematch to show.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, exactly. But you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. And like we were saying earlier about, having schedules of things, I've been trying to have a schedule for streaming on my own channel, which is Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, simply_Deo. And it kind of seems like a lot of times been dedicated to Warframe mostly, because it's like trying to get all these frames for the donation coming at the end of the month. But I've been open to having people come in, and if you need help farming some frames prior to, I'd love to help you. So definitely come hang out if you so want to. But if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show here. If you do want to watch this in full, we do highlight it on Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/MadRealms, 2 A's in the Mad. And if you want to watch us live, you can check us out, same Twitch channel, on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, if that is your preferred method, just youtube.com/MadRealms. Noticing a pattern. And that goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And if you want the audio version and a phone ringing in your ear and confusing you at the end of the audio version, that's over on madrealms.com as well, where you can find all this stuff in one handy little thing. And I think that is it for this week, and we'll see everybody in the game. Good night, everybody.
Peace out, friends.